Hi there, my name is Lavina Osbourne of Butterfly Wealth Creation, the financial empowerment organisation that's all about helping you to create, to preserve and to prosper. Today I'm going to be talking to my gold and silver business associate and part owner, co-founder of the Gold and Silver Club of London, Mr. Phil Carr. Hi Phil, you there?
Hi Lavinia, how you doing? Yes,
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on this interview with me.
no problem at all. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Okay. Right, on to the next slide. Right. So as an introduction, ladies and gentlemen, Phil and his business partner Nik Kalsi, as you can see in the picture here, runs the prestigious Gold and Silver Club of London. Now, as you're aware, I am known as the First Lady of Gold. Gold is an important part of my business, as I believe gold and silver and other precious metals is a great opportunity for you to preserve and to increase your wealth. So, Phil and Nik, they established Gold and Silver Club of London to inform, educate and coach independent traders. And as you would have seen from one of my vlog posts last week, the number of female traders is increasing in these unprecedented economic times. So it's definitely, this interview is definitely one you should be listening to if you are a female, and even if you're not, you still should be listening to this. Okay, so the Gold and Silver Club is for entrepreneurial individuals. So, you can be a part-time or full-time entrepreneur, but it's for entrepreneurial individuals that are interested in finding out how to make money in volatile markets. So that means if the market's going up, down or sideways, how you can still make money. Why gold and silver is an absolute must for investors as central banks print money to keep drowning economies alive and gasping for air. How to generate 6 to 14% monthly returns tax-free, let me repeat, tax-free in 30 minutes a day, and are committed to take immediate actions to profit from the lucrative opportunities available in the global economy. Please see below their website, www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Well, is that a fair assessment, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Lavinia. Essentially, yeah, just to go over that again. I mean, ourselves, Nick and I, we established the Gold and Silver Club, about a year ago or so, and it's really to combine both sort of Nick's trading knowledge and on the psychology side of things, where he's come from a background of working with some of traders from large hedge funds, some of the biggest financial institutions, and myself, who are a full-time trader, who's been trading the markets quite some time, especially gold and silver. I mean, we were actually as recently as Christmas just interviewed by International Life magazine, and we're guest speakers on Sky TV. So we're just trying to get the message out there, just like yourself, Lavinia. I think it's really important, especially in the times we are at the moment, and to make sure people are able to profit and not losing their money, as most people have just got their money in simple savings and bank accounts.
Awesome. Yeah, and I totally agree. And this is the reason why I like working with you, Phil. Right, so can you give us a bit of a background about how you personally became involved with gold and what led you to become such an expert?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's interesting when we were speaking a couple of weeks back, Lavinia, and you were talking about when you were at National Achievers Congress and you saw Rob Kiyosaki talking about gold and silver. I mean, I think from that point of view, I've been a fan of Rich Dad Poor Dad for a long time now. And he really got me looking into gold and silver some time ago. And ever since he has been talking about gold and silver, we're now up 11 years in a row on gold. I think it's 469% in the last 11 years. It's one of the only commodities that's ever really gone up 11 years in a row, which is staggering. And then you look more closely into why that's happening, what's been going on with the Federal Reserve and all the money which has been created in the last few years. And all the kind of fundamentals, which is the reason for it going up, really have made it very attractive both for trading and investors. And Nick and I, I've been trading silver for quite some time as well. We've got strategies for making, especially with silver. Silver's volatile, and we're able to profit from the price going up and down. But we're able to really teach our students, as well as trading, how to invest in the gold and silver. None of our students who, after they've trained with us, they all have exposure to the physical gold and silver, and we also teach people how to trade. But that's how we managed to get into it. Was fairly probably a few years back when we saw what Rob Kiyosaki was talking about.
Yeah, I think, and as you correctly said, I mean, after I saw that presentation, I was just like, right, gold and silver, but particularly gold. I just started, involving myself with that, learning more about it, and I'm really pleased that I did, and that's how and why I'm now known as the First Lady of Gold.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's great stuff. Right, so what differentiates your products from others? And when you asked this question, because there was something that you said that I wanted you to touch on, you said that talk about the physical gold, and obviously, there is a difference between physical gold and paper gold. So what differentiates your products from others?
The main difference is, I guess you probably got sort of, within this sort of area, you have three different types of people, or teachers, if you like. You have some which just proclaim you to buy the physical, and sometimes you can be caught on the premium. So if you're only investing in the physical on gold and silver, you really need to know what you're doing in terms of doing that, and it's not necessarily, you can get burnt when you're doing that, unless you have the right sort of mentor or someone teach you specifically how to do that. Then you've got the other area, which is the sort of more longer term investment, which is sort of buy, hold and hope, I guess, which is where you're talking, I think you touched upon it, where you talk about mining companies, where you're talking about ETFs and so on, where people perhaps sometimes are limited to just buying and holding, although I know you've got options in that area as well. Where we are looking, and the area we teach people, is specifically trading gold and silver. We have strategies where we're able to limit the risk, so it's not risky as some people may think, and we're able to profit from the market not just going up. So Nick and I in our community, and what we teach people is how to trade gold and silver as it goes up, down and sideways. And I think where we really have achieved great results is in our aftercare and our support as well. We've really built up a community of traders who would take them, from an absolute beginner to be able to get consistent returns every month. And we're there kind of every step of the way. We don't just let people do our courses and then walk away with a lot of information, not able to necessarily practice it. We make sure everybody is comfortable and able to train and trade the strategies.
That's awesome. Just for clarification for the people listening to this, an ETF is an exchange traded fund, and what an exchange traded fund is, it works as or it looks and it kind of has the same functionality as a share, but it's not a share, it's a fund. That's correct, yes?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Before I go on to the next question, because when we spoke, and one of the things I liked when we spoke was that you said that your clients are, you said you have a lady who's a single mom and a dentist, and so, what is your main sort of clients? Are they the more city blokes, city chicks and boys, or is it just the everyday sort of person that, your next door neighbour sort of thing?
Well, that's actually a really interesting question, Lavina. I think when I first got into trading as well, I was of the opinion that it was really only for the city slickers, people in the city, that it's kind of a lot of financial terminology and so on is there to probably put the average person off. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it really varies. We've got quite a varying client portfolio. We've got Sabrina, who's basically, she's a mum of 4 children, and she recently trained with us for about 3 or 4 months ago. And she was really, unsure as to whether she could be a trader. She had kind of some limiting beliefs over what she might be able to achieve trading, and she's just done absolutely fantastically well. It doesn't take her a lot of time. She's just doing end of the day trading, and sometimes less than that. As I say, she's got 4 children. She doesn't have a lot of time to do it, but the strategies are really simple, where you are literally, you can scale it down to just do 15, 20 minutes a day, and she's been getting some really good returns. Some of the other guys who've done the course with us recently, there's Pete, and he's a part-time property investor. He's a business owner. Again, he runs his own publishing company. He doesn't have a great deal of time to be trading, but since completing the course, after he'd done just 2 months, he was actually achieving consistent returns of 8% per month. Just following the strategies, coming along to all the meetings, making sure he got on all the support calls that we offer. And you've got just plenty of examples. Mike is another example, full-time property investor, wanted to diversify, get into gold and silver. He actually had a fantastic month. I think it was in November. He was our gold and silver trader of the month. He got 26.69% return. And again, that was only after a few months trading with us. So it's pretty much, we're able to take, you don't have to be, a slick kind of city boy or girl to be able to get into trading. It's very accessible to a lot of people. All it takes is just taking action, really. And once you've taken that action, just to follow the rules, follow the strategies, and just be consistent and utilize all the support available.
Awesome. Sounds great. Right. So how long does it take to really become a proficient gold trader, would you say? Like how long, like you're talking about all these examples of your students.
Yeah.
So like how long is your courses, and then how long after that would you say, how long would it take to become proficient?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question. I mean, it really varies from person to person. Some people have managed to get it as quick as just a month or two. Other people, it takes longer. It really does depend on how much. I think it's like anything, like driving a car and so on. When you first start off, you do need to put more time into it until you've learnt the rules, you've learnt the strategy, you've worked out a trading plan for yourself, what time of day is going to suit you. Once you've done that initial hard work at the beginning, I mean, the courses, we've got several different courses which range from a day up until 3 or 4 days, depending on how sort of advanced people want to take it. But in terms of how long it takes, a typical sort of timeline, some of our students have got sort of beyond 8% within just about 6 weeks or so. But that's when they've really they've applied the strategies. They're monitoring their trades and looking at the charts. Just 15 to 20 minutes a day, but they're doing it consistently, and that's what's really important. Just taking action. Obviously, if you just do the course one day and then you don't take any action, or you don't take any trades, or you don't keep up the momentum afterwards, you're not going to get the results you want. So you have to meet us halfway on that. But typically, we're getting very good results from our traders because they're part of our community. They become part of the support network, and everybody helps each other out to really get the result they want. And we make sure, I think Nick's very good on this, on the psychology side, that everyone's very clear on why they're doing the course, the goals they want to achieve, and the reason really that they're wanting to trade gold and silver, which is important to get people's why really, and why they want to do it.
Okay, awesome. What are the top 3 things someone should know before trading, investing in gold? I think you touched on some of them, but if you could just succinctly say what those.
Yeah, sure. I think the top things to learn, with trading, investing gold, is that you can make money on the markets whether they go up, down, or sideways. So I think this is where as an investor sometimes you can get a bit nervous, perhaps if you're just buying and holding. Not the physical, because I think long term the physical is it's going to go exponential in price. But I think when you've got a typical investor where they're just buying and holding, this is where trading you can take advantage of markets going both up, down, or sideways. I mean, the second thing to really learn about gold is that this hasn't. We're in unprecedented times. I mean, gold's actually gone up over 2,000% in the last 20 years. It's been up 11 years in a row, almost 500%, and in the last year alone it's gone up another 15%, and that was at one point last year it was up about 35-40%. So we teach the fundamentals, what people need to know about gold, and also how it relates to the overall economy. I think when we were chatting as well, Lavina, you were saying you had kind of a breakthrough. I think it is when people come on our courses or they come to the seminars. This stuff is not taught on everyday sort of people don't get this access to this information every day. It's not really what the government really want you to know. And a good example of this is with silver in China. They actually the government has advised people of China openly to go and buy and invest in physical silver. They've got loads of shops around China where you can do that, and the government is actually advising people. I mean, when has our government ever advised us to buy physical gold and silver? I mean, that's just a point that we educate people really on the fundamentals and what, because not everyone knows how much. Obviously, people know gold's a hot topic, but they're not really sure necessarily why the price has gone up. And I guess, the third thing we teach, it's just due to maybe people's beliefs and just being able to, it's really about when you're learning to trade. I guess some people, again, it comes down to their beliefs and their psychology, aren't sure whether it's something for them, whether they can trade, and they might not have been an investor before, and it's just really exposing how simple it is, how once you've got a system, once you've got a strategy in place, once you've got your risk is limited, and once you learn how to do it, it really is, it's very simple, and it doesn't have to take up a lot of your day. I think some of the perception is to be a trader, or you have to be there all day clicking, buying, selling, and you have to be kind of the Wall Street sort of Gordon Gekko character, and some people find that belief limiting. But so we work on the psychology as well, really, and we show just through our sort of community and our testimonials how easy it is once you're able to apply consistent taking the actions.
I think there's 2 points to touch on. Is that in the UK and even in the States, gold and silver is still seen as a fringe investment. Fringe. It's not something that we promote. And it's interesting to say that the central banks, including the UK, a lot of them sold off the gold, and now they're buying it. So at the end of the day, if you're seeing governments doing that, then you need to do that for your own personal economy. Your own personal economy.
Yeah, totally.
So that's good points there. And I think it's really also, this is why attending events like what I put on a couple of weeks back, it was all about, talking to experts. It was a panelist event. It was all about education, and also working with companies that are not just about teaching the strategy, but teaching the education before and the psychology during. Because without those key things, then you're not going to have a strong enough why, and you're not going to be consistent. And I think that is the one word there that is so important. It doesn't matter what you do, you have to be consistent. Consistency is the thing that will give you the results. So that's really good. Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
Right, next question. Right, can you provide some real life examples of other people who have followed your advice? You've already touched on that, so we'll move on to the next question, which is right underneath it, and it doesn't have 6. So apologies there. What type of approach do you have to the market? Technical, fundamental, or esoteric?
We use both fundamental and technical. The fundamental is where it essentially comes back. I mean, especially if you look at silver as well, which there are a multitude of reasons the price should be a lot higher, but that's where you're looking at the technicals, and you really for those of you who don't trade or not really familiar with these terms, the fundamentals used to be what a lot of traders, typically up to about 20-25 years ago, would use to trade the markets. This is where you've got a supply and demand. So if you've got less supply of something, the price is going to go up, and so on. And technical was really technical analysis was seen as sort of hocus pocus about 25 years ago. And so it's coming to the limelight in the last 20 years, and it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So many traders out there, and banks and hedge funds and individual traders, use technical analysis, i.e. certain chart patterns, to buy and sell something like gold and silver and other asset classes that you see distinct movements of the price off these levels. So we teach both. I think more than anything, the technicals is very important for sort of your more short-term trading. But on the longer time frame, if you look at something like gold, I mean, it's astounding. If you go back to a 20-year time frame on gold, it's gone up 2,000%, and that's where you've just got people who might just, you know, like you just invest in something just based on the fundamentals. So it's more short term that we're looking at the short to medium term. We're looking at the technicals.
Right. Okay. And esoteric?
What do you mean by esoteric?
Basically, about it's more like depending on what's happening.
Oh right, okay. With regard to the news and what's going on around the world, right? Okay. Absolutely. We do actually have some strategies that specifically take into account news. So yes, we do look at that. Again, that's on a much shorter sort of time frames. We offer different levels of our courses. We've got beginner right the way to advanced. Those who want to take trading to a more advanced level, like myself and Nick, you know, I'm a full-time trader myself. You can look at news does play a part, especially on the shorter time frames, and we would teach people how to use strategies to trade the news as well.
Okay, great. Right, if you had one secret to give about how to become successful with gold, what would it be?
I think the one secret, you kind of touched upon it earlier, it is about, you know, taking consistent action. I think if you're only just starting to learn about gold at the moment and you're starting to get on your radar, I would say, you know, take some action, come along to one of Lavinia's events, listen to the webinars. Really, I love what you're doing, Lavinia, with the information that you're sharing, and you're building up a panel of experts. And it really is about educating yourself, you know, looking after your personal finances and understanding why currencies are, you know, getting devalued year after year. And if you don't, you know, wake up to it soon, you could really get left behind. You need to understand what's going on with the current financial climate. And so I would say just take action, start doing your own research, come along to, you know, your events, and really consistently just start looking into it and start protecting your own finances. And I would really start encourage people to educate themselves on this.
Awesome. Now it's very important. You have to, in this downturn, not only will you be left behind, but you'll have nothing to move forward with, because your money would have been depreciated to such a point it will be worthless. And that's the reason why Butterfly Wealth Creation is all about helping you to create wealth, to preserve it, and to prosper.
Absolutely. I think if you look at compounding, how compounding works. So when you're trading an account and it's compounding and you're making a little bit extra money even every day, every week, as that grows, it snowballs massively. And after, you know, we do help people to protect their portfolios for a long time period, 5 to 10 years, or in the shorter term. But compounding also works against you, and it can be so slow. Currencies might not just, you know, fall off a cliff. We might not just have a sudden crash. But day by day, year by year, if you look at currencies, they're all devaluing. So it can just be a very slow process. And then it's like the analogy, the frog in the water. If the frog's in boiling water and it's starting to simmer, it's kind of warm, it's happy, and it's the water's simmering away. And it's not till the water's boiling, just over time, that the frog realizes what's happening. And a lot of people could face themselves in that situation. So compounding does work against you as well as for you. So it's important to start educating yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we've touched on the rate of return. You said it's between 6 and 14%?
That's right, yeah. That's what our traders are typically getting.
Okay, great. Is the investor's money only invested in gold, silver, precious metals, or other financial vehicles?
We are currently teaching predominantly gold and silver. I mean, some of them, you know, a lot of the guys who come to us are property investors already, or they own their own online businesses, or they've got their own businesses running. So we are teaching people specifically how to trade and invest in gold and silver. Myself and Nick do trade other asset classes, but our trainings and so on revolve all around gold and silver.
Awesome, and that's the reason why I'm working with you.
Yeah.
Right. So, is the money to be invested directly buying gold or other gold-related securities, like gold mine companies, stocks and shares and things like that, or?
We're not looking to directly invest in for our students to invest in mining companies or sort of gold shares. We do encourage our traders who are trading. The platforms that we use are a way to essentially trade the movements in price, the spot movements with both gold and silver. And we've got two different platforms that people can use to trade the spot price. In terms of gold and silver investing, we encourage people to buy the physical. Both with gold and silver, we're able to help people with doing that. But predominantly, we make sure all of our students do have some exposure to the physical, but we are teaching them how to trade the spot price of gold and silver for up, down, or sideways movements.
Brilliant. Okay, that's very good. Okay, one last question, which is on here. Because some people listening to this will be like, oh yeah, it sounds great, it sounds awesome, but nothing is ever perfect. Is there one, not negative, but one thing that that gives a more balanced overview about the company? Like, for example, we've touched upon that students need to be consistent, they need to educate themselves, they need to know their whys, but if there is a negative, what would the negative be about Gold and Silver of London, the Gold and Silver Club of London?
I think it's, well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a negative, but I would say you have to put, you reap what you sow. You have to put in some work, certainly initially, to get the sort of results that you want. You can't expect it to be a magic pill and obviously just do a workshop, for example, and then without following on and being consistent with your actions trading to get the sort of results you want. I guess it's like any courses that you do, whether it be online marketing, a property course. If you go along to the course and then expect yourself to suddenly be an overnight success or a trader immediately, that's not going to happen. You have to have a realistic expectation on that. So that's why it's so important to just join, become part of the community. You learn to associate with other traders. Really, you are taking consistent action with that. So the one negative would be, yes, I mean, you're not gonna become a trader overnight. We do have some quick success stories where people have done it in a very fast amount of time, but you do need to take some action. You need to be consistent in taking action, and then you'll get the results that you want, really. And that comes again back to your reason why do you want to do it. Work out exactly in advance. I mean, we do it's application only to join the Gold and Silver Club. We do want to make sure that people have the right reasoning behind them and that they are in a position to actually trade gold and silver. Another point on that is that we can't really teach someone who is has no money to trade, for example. You do need to have some money to be able to trade gold and silver.
Okay, those are really good points. So you need capital, which you can't make money from thin air. And secondly, I like the idea that it is a application process, because obviously you're part of a community and you want to keep the community positive and you want to keep it active. So
absolutely.
And that's best for everybody involved, really. Okay, so thank you so much, Phil.
It's been a pleasure.
I know that you're having a webinar. Why is it? It doesn't want to change. Sorry. I know you're having a. Oh, okay. I know that you're having a webinar on this coming Thursday the 9th.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And that's at 8 p.m. GMT, correct?
It's 8 p.m. this Thursday. Yes.
Okay. And what's the webinar about in a nutshell?
Yeah, the webinar is it's to do with what we've been talking about a lot today. Really, we're going to talk you through gold and silver, the fundamentals, really, what's been going on, why it is that currencies are devaluing, and really we're going to be discussing ways that you can take advantage of the market's tax-free cash flow that can be generated, and we're just going to give you some tips and really educate you on gold and silver. So it's worth coming along to the on the webinar, and I think you'll get some very good insights into what we've been discussing today.
Excellent. All right. So on that note, I thank you again for sharing your expertise and your education with my listeners, and I look forward to speaking with you again, Phil, and for us to working together in the future.
It's been a pleasure, Lavinia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.